main event for today is Kasey. Obviously, most of you do know him. When I found out about him and his story, I thought it would be an amazing opportunity to connect with him. And like I said, connect it and link it to financial well-being. A number of my team have already spoken about how Barclays supported financial well-being. But we thought it would be a great opportunity for us to discuss that, but also link it with Kasey's story, which some of you know and some of you may not know. But I won't take too much away from him. So a huge welcome, and come on over, Kasey.
Hello everyone, and thank you all for coming. What an incredible honour it is to be here in Barclays with you all here, talking to you about the Suit Group, my journey. It really is just incredible. I mean, I could have made a suit for this occasion, that's how big it is to me. But I've worn a suit which inside it says appreciate the moment. And this right here is a moment that no one on this earth will be able to take away from me. Something that I've created and put time into. So it's usually at the end, but if you've got a drink, cheers. Yeah, cheers to life and cheers to this moment. So I'm not gonna bore you with like a presentation or anything like that. I want you lot to get to know the story of the Suit Group, the challenges that I've faced in building the business. Today's obviously all about well-being, so I'll be talking about my well-being personally, mentally, and financially through the business as well. But what I want you guys to think about is, say, questions that you've got for me, questions that you've got for yourself, and takeaways that you can leave here with a positive takeaway from, whether it's something that I've done right, whether it's something that I've done wrong, whether it's something that gives you an idea or some sort of positive thinking for you. But I want you to leave here with a positive takeaway. So what I thought would be best is if I give you an example of, say, challenges that I've been through and say like the background of the business, and then we'll just have a discussion. You ask some questions to me and we'll go from there. But for you to really understand how the business started and where the idea came from, you've got to understand a little bit about myself. So I'm 28 now. I started the business when I was 23, 2017, September. And starting the business for me came from probably 18 months before that, where I had an idea. And that idea came from the different jobs that I have had. So I've always worked in sales. I've sold pens, I've sold houses, I've sold business rates. You name it, I've been in a sales job and I've sold it. Yeah, ABC, always be closing, that is me. So my background is within advertising. I've really done well in the advertising jobs that I had. And I worked for a business that was pretty much, let's say, Wolf of Wall Street. It was 500 dials on the phone every single day, madness is going on in the office. But what it taught me was my foundations for sales. So no matter what job that you do, sales, I feel, is a huge part of you being able to develop your revenue, be able to develop your own business through sales. So for me, as I said, I was working on sales floors, say 100 men in some offices, and women, of course. But what it was is, I'd turn up to work and there would at least be 5 people wearing the same suit, without fail, the same suit. They were from Moss and TM Lewin, the 2 closest suit shops to us. And I turned up one day in a grey check suit and I thought, oh, this geezer's wearing the same suit as me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that you want. You don't feel good when you see someone else wearing the same suit as you. So that was my first thought of, right, what else could I do? How can I be a little bit different? And then I went to the company that I was at. We had our AGM at Aintree Races. Turned up, and bearing in mind, so I worked in the London office, Manchester was head office, and 10 people turned up in the same suit at the races. Bearing in mind, you're at the races, you've got thousands of people in suits, and then you'd see other people wearing suits, and it was like, right, there's a gap in the market here. And I was about 21, 22 when I first thought, right, there's something here. No one wants to be turn up to somewhere and be wearing the same outfit. But I was someone who was buying a suit every 2 months. Because for me, it was a case of, I'm selling a product on a sales floor of 100 people. Now, if I'm speaking to a man who makes £10 million a year, what's the difference between me and this guy next to me? If we sound the same, we've got the same background, everything's on the same level playing field, what's the difference? How can I differentiate myself from this guy next to me, plus the other 20 competitors out there? How do I do it? Through how I look. So I started wearing socks that would match the sky. Like I'd wear a yellow tie, I'd wear a yellow pair of socks. I'd wear a red tie, I'd wear a red pair of socks. I'd walk into a meeting, sound the exact same, but those people would remember me. And when I clocked on to people actually remembering how you look, for if you're presentable, of course, but also if you're not presentable, people are going to remember that. But I remember, for me, it was like that, right, first impressions count. So, as I said, I had that idea of, right, people wearing the same sort of stuff, and then I was going to my tailor with my suits that, as I say, look, I was 21, 22, earning commissions on a suit, say, I wasn't making loads of money, but spending the money on suits, for me, I love doing it. Like, I didn't even have much money, but I'd spend my money on a suit because I knew that I'd go into work. And again, as I said, this is all about well-being, and when I realized how good I felt when I put on a suit and I'd go into work and I'm doing, say, $500 a day, I'm doing $550 a day. I'm up an hour through lunch, I'm on the phone, and bang, 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 bang. Let's just get the sales, let's get the sales. And for me, it came down to how I felt at that time. So as I said, I was buying suits, and it was a case of, I went to an event, and it was the British Film Awards. So I went to Mossborough, and I thought, right, if you haven't bought a suit from Moss, most men probably have. Women, if you haven't, then most Moss, they don't even really have a women's section. But I had gone into a shop, and I thought, right, I've been buying the sales suits. Let me spend a little bit more money on this suit. And I went into their section, and I thought, yeah, that's a nice one, that's a nice one, that's a nice one. And I said to the girl that was serving me, and I said, sorry, what colour shirt do you think would go with this? And she went, I don't know. I went, if I'm spending £300-400 on a suit, that's something that you should know. Now, bless her, she was a 16-year-old part-time girl on a Saturday. And that's what you'd usually get in suit shops on a high street, yeah? But I'm a man that wants to look good. I want to look good, I want to feel good, I want to make that extra money when I'm on the phone. And that, for me, was that link. So I didn't like the fact that she didn't know what colour shirt or colour tie and that sort of thing. Not just that, I then spent £300 on a suit. Did it fit me? No, it didn't. I then had to buy the size up in a pair of trousers, then take it to my local dry cleaners because the tailors cost £200, the dry cleaner cost £100. So by the end of the day, when that suit was, say, fitting me properly, it cost me, say, another £150 to do what I wanted it to do. So usually for me, it was a case of, it would fit me around my thigh, around the calf, it would be like a parachute. So I'd get that brought in, taken in, sorry. And that is something that on the sales floor, I can see nods heading already, is something that most people will go through when you're buying a product like a suit. And a suit is not something that you just put on to just say wear and chill and relax in. A suit is something that you're wearing to an event that you want to feel good at. You're either wearing it to a meeting at work, that's like, or day-to-day to work. You're wearing it to christenings, to funerals, to events like that that are meaningful. It's not, so what I like to say is, it's not just a white t-shirt. And when I then bought that suit and turned up to the British Film Awards, and it was like, it's not even how I actually really want it. But I turned up, and bearing in mind, of course, I'm from South London, that sort of vibe, and it's like I'm turning up to red carpet, I feel like the absolute man. I feel like the man. But then I'm turning up and there's another guy in the same suit as me again. So I'm like, this just isn't, again, that was the first sorts of thoughts of, for me, the suit group. And I had always been to the same tailor, bringing my suits to the same tailor. Rashid, head tailor of the suit group, amazing guy. And it came to a point where I was buying that many suits and had taken that many suits to him that it was like, why don't you like sort of think of like doing your own sort of thing? I was like, yeah, I've had those thoughts. And around that time, 22, 23, for me, as I said, that was about 2016, 2017, Snapchat was quite big. And what I used to do, again, is where I was wearing a red tie and red socks, I'd walk down the road and I'd film myself what I was wearing. And every time I put that up, without fail, where's your suit from? Where's your suit from? Where's your suit from? And I thought, I keep sending these people to Mossbro. Why am I sending them to Mossbro? I'm not getting no commission for this. So I thought, right, let me actually look into starting my own suit business. So I looked at where I get fabrics from. I looked at the process of building a suit, and I looked at the price of a suit. And at that point, I thought, I can't do this. I can't actually go into it, because an average man like me at 22, 23, I can't afford a tailored suit price, because as soon as you look on Google, you type in tailored suit, what do you think the minimum price is? £5,000 at Savile Row. So me, and coming from South East London, not much money that I'm having to make myself, as an average man, I can't afford 5k. I ain't even got 5k in my bank account. So how on earth am I gonna start a business and start selling suits at 5k? So I was like, right, I need to look at who am I selling to? Who are the men or the people that will buy a suit like I did? I thought, I need to sell to people like me. That's it. That's all I knew. I didn't know anyone else. I didn't know anyone else's, their upbringing, their background. I didn't know their bank accounts, but what I knew was mine. So I thought, right, if there's people like me who feel like I do when I go and buy a suit, there's bound to be hundreds and thousands of men across this country who feel like I do when buying suits. So I looked at, I researched on Google, right, let's look at where I can buy fabric from. Now, when it comes to tailored suits, you get majority of tailored suits, say on a cheaper level, in Thailand. Yeah. So I was like, right, look at Thailand, time difference. I used to set my alarm for 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd ring the tailors in Thailand, because they don't have websites. They're like, and I was like on Google Maps, and I'm